Which is better, Bookkeeping Buddy, QuickBooks Online, or Wave? And the answer, like everything in the accounting world, is it depends. I'm going to dive into some of the differences and some of the similarities between these different platforms, their strengths and their weaknesses, and talk a little bit about who each one is really for. All right, so first, let's start with Bookkeeping Buddy. So Bookkeeping Buddy is the software that I designed after my 15 years of doing taxes for small businesses, built with the owner in mind. So I have a lot of small business clients, and they would do things like send me a whole bunch of bank statements, like 12 checking account statements and 12 credit card statements. And I would tell them, hey, that's not what I need. I need profit and loss statements. And they would say, that's what I got. And I said, great. Are you going to pay for a bookkeeping cleanup? No. Okay, where does that leave us? They tell me, just add up the numbers and do whatever you do. And that's not really sufficient. Bookkeeping Buddy started out of my own frustrations with that kind of situation. And it's gotten me into this world where, just as another aside, I am a profit first professional, which is where we help small businesses really focus on improving the profitability of their small businesses. And everything kind of came together with the AI revolution. So Bookkeeping Buddy used to be a series of spreadsheets and a custom GPT built on ChatGPT. And you would upload your bank statement to ChatGPT, it would do its analysis, and then you would copy and paste different tables into a spreadsheet that I had formatted for you already. People broke it all the time. It had lots of problems. With the development of AI coding platforms, I was finally able to turn this into an actual application that is usable. And that's where we are today. Bookkeeping Buddy was built to solve that problem where we have an owner of a business who is not a bookkeeper, is probably not doing their books accurately, and needs to. And so what happens in the tax world is under 250,000 of revenue and over $250,000 of revenue is a key differentiator, because once you hit over 250 in revenue, then we have to do what's called the Schedule L, Schedule M1, Schedule M2. What that means is that the bookkeeping needs to be tied into the tax return, and you report any differences, because there's always going to be differences between tax and book. So Bookkeeping Buddy is for those businesses, which is 88% of all the small businesses, 88% of all the businesses in America that are under $250,000 of revenue, because it is not going to give you a balance sheet. And for most of those small businesses, most of those 88%, you don't need one. You have cash in the account, maybe you have a credit card balance, and that's it. You're not booking receivables, you're not booking long-term liabilities or anything like that. There's just cash in and cash out. For that, Bookkeeping Buddy is perfect. And it's designed with simplicity in mind so that I just drag and drop the bank statement, and I click AI Analyze, and then I click Generate P&L. Then I can go on about my day and make better decisions in my business. So that's the strength of Bookkeeping Buddy. It's very inexpensive. It's $7 a month or $49 a year if you want to do the annual, or if you don't want any subscription at all, $149 lifetime. And I'm just betting that will be profitable over the long term. So that's the strength of Bookkeeping Buddy. It is not going to hook into your bank account in the current version, and the reason why is because even with things like Plaid that do read-only connections, they break because banks update their security every so often. Some do it every 3 months, some do it every month, some do it twice a year, and it always causes problems. This is part of why QuickBooks Online is so expensive, is because they have to have a team of thousands of engineers to fix these things with all these different banks. In order to make things simple, we're just taking the statements and dragging and dropping them into the import statement function that you see here. All right, so that's Bookkeeping Buddy. QuickBooks Online is a very powerful accounting platform and is the standard for that larger small business. A small business, in depending on which government department you're talking to, could be anything under 25 billion of revenue. It could be anything under 100 employees. It could be anything under $31 million of revenue. It just depends on which department is talking about which criterion. I think most people would consider a business making $15 million a year to be a pretty sizable business, but that's still small in the official accounting world. If you're in there, you're going to need a QuickBooks Online or a NetSuite if you're doing a lot of inventory or more complicated solutions. If you're doing invoicing straight out of your bookkeeping platform, if you are want to integrate payroll into your bookkeeping directly, if you have assets and liabilities that you need to keep track of, those are good solutions for QuickBooks Online. The downside, though, is that it costs, right? So there are different levels of service depending on what you need. And as users have noticed over the years, the prices tend to creep up over time. And now we use QuickBooks Online inside Tax Sherpa a lot for our clients, and those are clients that need that professional level of help. And it works great for that, right? Downsides are cost, downsides are bank feeds break. And downsides are that the AI that these platforms are starting to roll out, I don't know what they're using, but they're much, much worse than the Gemini that we use. I think they might be trying to build their own, which is an issue. I'm not sure about that, but that's what it seems like. I can tell you from personal experience, the AI inside of QuickBooks Online is not doing the job. Just in my experience, I have not had a good experience with that. The regular functions that are not AI based still work great. They do keep moving around the menus, which annoys me because I get used to one menu set up and then it gets changed on me, and then I have to search for the thing I used to use all the time. QuickBooks Online, if you have one of those more complicated situation, I would say use QBO and try to get good pricing. So like for our bookkeeping clients, where we do the bookkeeping for those larger small businesses in Tax Sherpa, we do get a discount because we have an accountant account. And I think it's 30% off the sticker price. We pass that savings along to our clients because I don't need to make whatever that spread is of a couple bucks a month. Happy to share that with our clients. So that's QBO. Wave. Wave is a free software that is, I don't know if free is quite the right word. It's freemium, right? So it has base levels that are free, and then there are paid add-ons. And it works in a similar kind of way to QuickBooks Online. In my experience, which is definitely less than my experience with QuickBooks Online, in my experience, it's just very clunky. It's harder to get the information that I need when I'm preparing taxes for somebody. I have an accountant log in for their set of books, and then I log in and I'm trying to figure out the different reports that I need. Part of that is just lack of familiarity compared to QuickBooks Online, but part of it is just they bury some things because they have a design philosophy or a design paradigm that I think is not a good match or as good a match for the real world. So if you do need more complicated stuff and you don't want to pay for QuickBooks Online, Wave is the alternative, at least the largest alternative. There are others. There's Zoho Books. There is Xero with an X, Xero, and there's a few others. From my experience with small business owners, they don't get the job done for the small business client that they're really targeting. Now, maybe I'm biased, but that's my experience. The other thing to keep in mind is that all of these other solutions, whether it's QuickBooks, Wave, or Zoho Books, or any of them, they are built for accounting and for accountants to do accounting. And that's great if that's you. It is not great if you are a plumber or you are a consultant or you are anybody who's not an accountant, because you got to set up your chart of accounts. You got to set up the fees. You got to make sure the assets and the liabilities balance with the equity. That's the basic accounting equation. And so there's a lot of technical work that people who are not professional accountants mess up because that's not their field. And they just feel like they have to do it, so they half-heartedly get things set up. And then when a professional comes in and decides to, whether it's for tax reporting or just general cleanup or whatever, then it's just a mess. I have never yet, in the thousands of P&Ls and things that I've looked at, I have never yet seen one that is correct, that is done by the business owner or by a non-accountant in that business. Maybe in some cases it's like it's a husband and wife team, and the husband does the operations and the wife takes care of the office and she does the books. That's pretty common. But yeah, I have never seen one done correctly. So if you have a larger need, I would say QuickBooks Online is the way to go, but get professional help. If you need that, contact us at taxsherpa.com. We can certainly help you out. If you are underneath that level of need and you can't justify spending hundreds of dollars a month on bookkeeping, then Bookkeeping Buddy is your best solution because it is the simplest and it gets the jobs done. It gets you to the point where the books actually matter, which is to analyze what is going on in your business and make better decisions. For more on that topic, check out the video here on how to read a P&L. And I think it's 12 minutes long, but it will give you a quick education on how to actually use this information to make your business better.